Okay. I finished Ignite Me the day it came out. It was like the fastest I've ever read a book. And it's still going through my mind. I don't know what to talk about first. Warner is always a good bet. Okay. I'm just remembering the days back when Warner and Juliet was my guilty pleasure OTP. I'm remembering all the times people came up to me like, why do you like Warner? He's a psycho! I don't know, I have a thing for bad guys. That's what I would always say. But no, Warner. Okay, I'm gonna make sense now. Warner to me was always more than this really sexy bad guy. In the beginning, in Shatter Me, I always thought that Warner was just this really good-looking psycho. And it almost, I was like, I shouldn't like him, but I liked him anyway, and I didn't really know why. And then Unravel Me comes around, and I was like, I told you guys I liked him for a reason. Even though I didn't really know he was gonna turn into, like, a suddenly good character. But I think that's why I liked him so much, because he wasn't suddenly good. He was well-rounded. He was slowly revealing himself as the books went on. He was so brilliant. I liked that you kind of got these false impressions of him that weren't really like any other book character. Like in the first book, he was this psychomaniac. In the second book, he was this guy kind of on the fence, like, do I change for this girl that I like? Do I stay the way I am because it's easier that way? And then you find out that he was never trying to change at all. He was always who he was. And it's the weirdest character development I've ever seen in a book, because his character development didn't come with change, it came with opening up to Juliet, these things that he's never talked about before in his life, probably. I think he's just really incredible. He's the most human book character of any book character that I've ever come across. But this review is not about Warner, I'm sorry. Okay, I want to point in the face and laugh at everyone who ever said that Juliet was weak. She was. In the first book, she was frightened and she was lonely and she was abandoned. Then she was not, you know? Yeah, this book was so incredible. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make sense, I swear. How do you go from being terrified of your own shadow to leading armies, to conquering the world? That's incredible. She's everything I want to be right now, like seriously. I've always liked her because there was something about her, like even in her fear, she knew what she wanted, she knew what she had to stand for. But now that her fear is gone, now that there are no more strike-throughs in the book, she's like blossomed into this goddess, I think. Okay, I'm gonna put the book down. I can't. Throughout the whole book, I was actually trying to look for things I didn't like. I do that sometimes. And the drama did get a little bit overbearing sometimes, but I mean other times it was kind of delicious, a little bit. I kept studying Adam's character and Warner's character to see if they were ever going out of character. And I did see a lot of people say that Adam wasn't quite himself, and I agree with that, but I don't think he ever went out of character necessarily. It took me a very long time for me to finally just admit to myself that, okay, he's kind of becoming an unlikable character. But I thought it went well with him, because like, I've been blown up on by a guy that I broke up with. And it's just, I don't know, I was reading it and I was just like, yep. I thought it was very believable that he went all psycho crazy. Because that's what love does to you. Makes you psycho crazy. Oh, but Kenji and Juliet. Okay. Kenji in the first book was like, wow, are you serious? This kid right now? And then at the end he was like, oh, he has powers too. And then in Unravel Me he was like, okay, thanks for setting Juliet back on track, but you have to be so mean. And in the beginning of this book you're like, oh, Kenji. But then in the middle you're like, oh, Kenji. And then at the end you're like, Kenji. I'm a little bit, oh, books make me like this, you know what I'm like, you know, you do it too. I was very, very happy for Kenji and Juliet's friendship. I feel like it was the best part of it was the best part of the book. I'm still all smiley. I've never been so smiley after finishing a series, especially after Allegiant. Just kidding, Allegiant was good. I feel like this is one of the very few books that I burst into tears more than once because of happiness. I don't think that's ever happened. I'm so used to being torn to shreds by authors, but Tahereh Mafi was just like, here's this and here's that. And I was like, yes, thank you. I was very happy with the way this book ended. I was scared though, reading it this whole time, because like Tahereh was teasing us with tweets like, if you think you know how Ignite Me is gonna end, you're probably wrong. And I hope nobody kills me for the ending of Ignite Me. And I was like, oh gosh, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna die? And then she was right. The end wasn't what I expected. It was Juliet. It was all Juliet. She was like, Juliet. I don't want to make it seem like I overlook her at all. Like, I talk about Warner a lot, probably more than is healthy, because he's a fictional character and I'm kind of a real life person. But I really love Juliet. I don't overlook her. I just talk about Warner too much. She is one of my top favorite book characters of all time. And it's kind of sad to see this trilogy end. It was the last of my top 3. Divergent, Legend, and Shatter Me were my top 3, and now I'm gonna have to find a new top 3, because those are all done. So, comment for recommendations, because I really do need a top 3. I'm thinking The Fifth Wave, Shadow and Bone. I don't know. What do I do with the rest of my life?